Today we have an interview with former Jesus Loves Junkies founding member and guitarist Patrick Orcutt, hosted by the Inhaler of Vacuums.
Hello.
And me, Joe. So, Pat, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Patrick Orcutt. I'm 40 years old. Played with Jesus Loves Junkies in '96, and I've known Jeff. We've been buddies since first grade, so I guess this was an ongoing creation that we both made from our youth and developed.
Could you tell us something about the album cover first, then?
Which one?
The one of Sober Masterpiece.
It's funny that you mentioned that. When we were younger, I remember when Jeff made that. Jeff made most of the artwork, the album artwork himself. I can't remember if he cut that one out of a picture of himself that I took, I think, and he superimposed it on top of another picture of the zygote below. And it's funny though, because the eyes in that one, I can't remember. Well, I'm pretty sure I took that picture. He made a lot of the artwork. He was really good at it, actually. He spent a lot of time. He smoked a lot of cigarettes. I used to smoke cigarettes too. I quit about a year ago. Jeff was a nice guy. He was kind of dark. He'd lock himself in his studio for hours, days and days on end, writing stuff on his Hawaii K4 or his K4. He had a K4 synthesizer, and he had a Q80 sequencer Hawaii. And I love the Q80 sequencer because you could write stuff and it was really easy to use. I had mine for years, and then somebody, I don't know, eventually stuff disappears over the years, and you stop doing stuff, and you find other avenues and things to work on. But yeah, Jeff was one of those kind of people that he would just write for hours, days and days and hours and hours. He'd write music. Every time I'd go by to practice, he'd be writing something new, or he'd be working on some new album artwork. And I have a lot of other friends. I started a couple other interesting music endeavors after JLJ. One was Sickerwell.com. Sickerwell was a drum and bass endeavor that me and my friend Nick Joyce worked on. But back to JLJ, a lot of the stuff from JLJ, a lot of the music integrated sequencing and the Q80 stuff, all the sequencing that he did, the music, the layers. There's a lot of layers in the music. That's why you guys love it, I know, because I fell in love with the music too. He'd write stuff and I'd write stuff, and we'd layer it, and we'd spend a lot of time with on a Tascam. A 4-track Tascam is how we recorded probably 50% of the music we had, and then we did a lot of digital stuff afterwards online, or not online, but on the computer. And we'd send stuff back and forth online sometimes. Some songs we'd work on stuff abroad, and yeah, do you have any other questions about the album artwork? I mean, it's not really, it's just the one zygote. I don't really think it's as dark as it might have could have been. He's made some pretty dark artwork.
Do you know how it relates to the meaning of the album?
Well, I don't remember exactly what the words were written on there. I think he wrote, I don't remember what he wrote, like on the bottom, like zygote was or something. But I don't think he read too much. I don't want to read too much into it. I think it's just he just threw it together, put the zygote on there, and it's the birth of, that was what he wanted it to represent. That's how he wanted it to represent the album cover, I guess.
What was it like in the recording studios when the album was being written and produced?
Jeff and I used to spend evenings writing music and just hanging out. Pretty much just locked in the studio all night, just, smoking cigarettes, drinking, playing music, song after song, and then we would perform songs too, just for inspiration. We would perform additional, other cover tunes that we liked. Um, Play a lot of Marilyn Manson and Skinny Puppy and stuff like that, just for fun to kind of sort of keep ourselves from getting too stuck in one situation. When you're writing music, it's kind of you have to pull power from other places and drive the way you create the music is derivative of other musics that you've made, and those are the sounds that you're producing now. And he was very methodical about putting together his music. Jeff would, I mean, months and months and months. He would just lock himself in the studio. He had a room on the back side of the house that was a studio. It was very nice. Nice mixer, everything set up. I remember it, and guitars and stuff. Gosh, we were so young then. It didn't really seem like we were doing much. It just kind of seemed like we were just doing what normal kids would do every day, just make music. That's what we did.
So how was it live? How did you perform it? Did you have like any special ways of performing it live? And yeah, did the crowd react to Soul Masterpiece? I mean,
oh, they loved it, of course. We always performed very dark. It was very dark. We wore a lot of dark clothes. It was shiny, not really glam. It was more like a goth look to it. Just a lot of dark. We played out. It's funny though because it was a very long time ago. I played a lot of different shows, and I remember a couple of them. There was one at Deviate that we played. Jeff, he'd get really pissed off if anything went wrong. He would freak out really hard because everything was supposed to go, his way. It was supposed to be, he turned the DAT on. If it didn't go just right, he'd get very upset. So basically, to keep the timing, we would use a DAT, and we'd play live on top of that. And it was a lot of fun because most of the guitar riffs and everything else that we'd perform, it was all really simple. It wasn't like hard. It wasn't like really intricate or really hard to play up on stage. It was more kind of already pre-programmed. It was just like, hey, we showed up, we load in, we do our thing, and we load out. It wasn't. It was almost like we had programmed ourselves so well just to go and perform, and to do it. We kind of lost the fun. And I think that's why we fell apart, was because it took the fun out of it. It was more like we wanted it to be so perfect and so right, and everything to go the way we wanted it. I think over time, when you're that much of a perfectionist, which Jeff was very much a perfectionist, he would, maybe over micromanage things, and that's maybe why the band no longer exists. It's just because his stress level was so high. It was too hard for him to contain himself on stage. He'd go full ballistic. I mean, what WFO? I mean, there's no stopping him. His stage performance was amazing. His energy was there. It was just like I've seen a lot of people perform on stage. It was pretty wild, dark, and his voice is amazing. By the way, yeah. Jeff's an amazing creation. He created, just playing guitar and just being there in the background. I mean, it's like it's like you're playing along with the track instead of playing the track live for people. It's a different perception when you're up there and doing it and making sure that things are going right. They're supposed to be going right on stage. It's kind of like, and then the lighting guy that we had for that show, I can't remember. It wasn't Bruce. I think. Can't remember now. But yeah, the lighting on that show was it was very dark. We just did a lot of white strobes. White strobes were a really good effect on stage. But yeah, other than that, the crowds were just, they weren't that big. They were just nominal, probably, we do very personal venues, like 200-300 people, 400 people. Clutch, I had a band named Clutch also that I play guitar in. We would sell out and play at DPC. We never got to play at DPC. Yuma, played in Yuma one time, a couple LA little bars and stuff like that. But yeah, other than that, it was kind of a very short period of my life. And it's funny, I was probably 18, 19, 20 when we did all this. 40, so it's 20 years ago.
Well, thanks for giving us like at least some imagination of what the live shows would have been like, because yeah, we obviously don't have footage.
Yeah, they
So
would never be. Yeah, I wish
yeah,
I had footage, but I don't. Jeff he might have footage, but I don't.
no, he doesn't. I asked him already.
What was the overall meaning of Still One Masterpiece?
That's a good question. That'd be a great question for Jeff, because he sure answer that because he wrote it. To me, well, it's maybe I'd have to review it again and listen to it again for the first time, because as you get older, you hear things for the same time, the same way you heard them the last time, but for some reason you hear something different. It's weird. When you get older, you hear your perception's different. When I listen to it now, I feel like more like, I guess the whole thing is the idealistic of religion and how cross it can make you against your own feelings, your own mortal coil, your own mortal distortion. I don't know exactly. I don't know. It's got a lot of elements. He touches on himself, his perception of life, and where, I guess, where man has put him in the position that he's in, and how he feels. I don't know. But yeah, no, I'd have to revisit some of the songs myself just to kind of get a feeling for each one individually. I think there's separate ideas that he has in place that he's established in some of the songs. But like I said, I've lost a lot of my memory and recollection. If I jog it, if I listen to it real quick, I usually pick it back up. Just like when I play piano and stuff. Stuff that we used to play. It's hard when you get older and you lose a lot of your memory. And you don't remember stuff. But like playing piano now for me it's not difficult, but I don't remember half or even a fraction of the stuff I used to know. Some people have full recollection of like piano scores and stuff. I can play stuff that I played when I was a child, but it's not as intricate as the stuff I'm learning now. So I don't know, your perception of your own mind when you get older, like when you're creating music, the evolution of creation in music and your own, in Jeff's music, it's kind of like you have to take a second and really start to perceive music as more than just a music note or just a sum of notes. You have to kind of think of it more as I guess a culmination of feeling, emotion, thought, and a process too that encompasses all of it at the same time. Because I don't know, music is a beautiful thing, and it's not as simply as explained as just one idea.
So yeah, let's just to end this interview. Do you have any things you might still want to say now about Still One Masterpiece or JLJ in general?
Would, and it's funny that you say that. It's a good question. Jeff actually contacted me not that long ago, and he asked me, he says, so why did we stop playing, or what's your only regret in life, or do you have any regrets? And I said, yeah, one of my regrets is not playing anymore. And when you're that age, you make something beautiful or create something like that for yourself and others to listen to. You don't think 20 years later you're going to be listening to it, trust me. So I would say for people out there that are just now starting to make music or or create on their own is don't give up, keep trying, be persistent, don't stop. I stopped, I quit playing, and started working for a living and doing other things. When really, if that's if you're good at something like that, you should definitely pursue it for the rest of your life and never stop following your dreams. That's for sure.
Okay, thank you for that. That was a pretty nice answer.
Huh.
It's also pretty sad that you stopped playing because it was just awesome. You
Yeah,
you did a great job on the guitars.
thank you.
So I guess it's over now.
Well, yeah, no, JLJ was put to rest a very long time ago. Unless Jeff wants to release, and he's been writing new music for JLJ. I think what he's probably been doing for the past 20 years is just writing more music for himself and his son. He has a son that he's probably going to get. I forget how old he's now. I think they're probably about. We both have children. I have a 13, 14-year-old. And I think he's got a 15-year-old, 14-year-old now too. So he'll probably just be passing on his guitars and all his music and whatever else he has stashed on his hard drives to his children. You know, so.
Okay. Well, I guess that was the interview then.
Sweet, thanks, man.
All right.
Yeah.
Thanks for doing the interview.
Yeah. All right. Ciao. You guys have a good day.
You
Yeah.
too. See ya.
All right.
See you.